You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Halloween season, everyone. Hope you're all having a great month so far. I've got a review for Scream 5, which is directed by Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli Olpin is what I'm going to go with. It's written by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, and it stars Neve Campbell, once again returning as Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Melissa Barrera, Kyle Gallner, Mason Gooding, Dylan Minnette, the lovely Jenna Ortega, Jack Quaid. The cast is absurd, honestly. And just to get this out of the way, I started watching the Scream films last year. I watched Scream 1 and Scream 2 this time last year, and I'd heard so much shit about Scream 3 that I was just like, you know what, I'll watch it. I'll watch it at some point, but I'll watch it at my own time. And so last month I just got inspired, and I've been watching all the Scream films for the first time. And it's been fucking awesome. Like, I get why people love these movies so much. Outside of 3, I dig them all. They're all fantastic, and all of my reviews will be up on the channel for all the Scream films before the end of the month. So I mentioned the writers, but so James Vanderbilt, his career writing wise is all over the fucking place. So you start with Darkness Falls in 2003. You get The Rundown, which you could still argue is Dwayne Johnson's best film. You get that. You get Zodiac, which is fucking fantastic. You get The Losers, which I think The Losers is a better movie and people get it credit for. I think The Losers is fun. Then you get The Amazing Spider-Man. You get White House Down, which fuck yeah, C-Tates, let's go. He does that movie Truth with Robert Redford and Cate Blanchett, which I think went under the radar when it came out, but it's a good flick. Then you get he's a producer on The House of a Clock in Its Walls, which I've talked up on the channel multiple times. But then he does Murder Mystery, and Murder Mystery, just God help us, Murder Mystery is not good. But then he does he produces Ready or Not, and he writes this Scream film. Like it's so weird. Like his very interesting filmography to say the least. And then Guy Busick, as far as his career, he's written Scream 6, this Scream, and Ready or Not. And he's a writer on Castle Rock, which I actually heard a few good things about. So, very interesting the dynamics here as far as who's involved. Matt Bettinelli Olpin, he's directed Ready or Not, and directed a VHS and VHS 99, which I've heard good stuff about the VHS movies. So, and then the other director, Tyler Gillett, he also went ahead and directed Ready or Not and the aforementioned VHS movies. So, there's definitely a pedigree here. Getting to the 5th Scream movie, especially after how bad 3 is. Like, 3 sucks so bad. And I was so happy with what they do with Scream 4. I'm reviewing these out of order, so it'll be interesting to see where my thoughts change a little bit. But I love Scream 4 so much, and I love where Scream 4 ended. But this movie in particular, it goes ahead and it takes place in it starts off in a different way. It starts off with Ghostface calling Tara, who's played by Jenna Ortega. And this might be my favorite opening in a Scream movie because it's so different from the other films. It pardon me, in the sense that what's always been the classic thing with the opening of the Scream movies? Whoever is on the other side of that phone, you're fucked. Ghostface is gonna kill you. And so I was really shocked because Jenna Ortega, to quote Zoolander's Mugatu, is so hot right now. So when I saw her get killed, I was like, oh shit, they killed Jenna Ortega. That sucks. But then you find out she survived. She's the first person in a Scream film to survive the opening, which is so wild. I was it caught me off guard, and just from that moment on, I went, okay, we're gonna change some shit up here. I'm really excited for where this is gonna go ahead and take me. One thing that this film does flawlessly is the way it connects legacy characters. I won't spoil it here, but there is a connection between Sam and Tara to someone that once that's revealed, I went, oh, that's fucking amazing. That is, I didn't know I wanted that, but now that you've introduced this, yes, everything that you just said, I love all of this. One thing about this movie, because it does feel like a changing of the guard, because in case you don't know, Neve Campbell doesn't come back for Scream 6 because the studio, according to her, undercut her as far as her pay. And when you think about Neve Campbell, it was actually just her birthday, like 5 days ago. So happy belated birthday to Neve Campbell. But when you think about Scream Queens, if she's not your number one, if it's not Jamie Lee Curtis, it's probably Neve Campbell. Like she's fucking incredible, and she just nails it in these films, especially in the third film, which even though that movie fucking sucks, that's how great she is at playing Sidney Prescott. She just gets this character. And so as the film went on, especially in the early parts where it's setting up Sam and Tara more prominently, I definitely just kind of started chuckling because I went, oh god, this is like She-Hulk all over again, where people didn't get exactly what they wanted, so, fuck them. And I don't know, I think Sam and Tara, as the film goes on, because look, this could have ended up like Terminator Salvation or a Terminator Dark Fate, where they introduced the new John Connor. It could have ended up like that, where she in no way warrants the spotlight that she's being given based on her performance. And that's not the case here at all. I think Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega absolutely nail these roles. And again, once you find out how they're kind of tied together in this big secret that Sam's kind of hiding, it really does add more emphasis and more gravitas to both their characters, especially for what they're going through as far as being hunted by Ghostface. I didn't mention this, but in Scream 4, one thing I really liked were the kills. I really liked how brutal the kills were. And this is the case especially with this one and Scream 6. The kills just feel more personal from Ghostface. There's some brutality in this film that I just went, god damn, this is like, it's beautifully on that border of being uncomfortable. And speaking of kills, I have to get this out of the way. So if you haven't seen Scream 5, I'm getting very much in spoiler territory now. David Arquette, who, if you've listened to my Scream 2 or Scream 2 review, which I hope you have, I talked about at length about how David Arquette, good grief. Okay, David Duchovny as Dewey would be a totally different thing. But David Arquette playing Dewey, where we see him at the end, at the start of this movie, we find out that him and Gail have separated. And it's really heartbreaking because, like, as much of a bitch as Gail is, and my god, can she be a bitch, but Dewey always felt like her compass, like her moral compass, where maybe they balance each other out in that way, so maybe they could make it work. And it was always just kind of a question of, will Gail's ambition be too much for them to actually make this work? And at the end of the day, that's exactly what it seems like at the forefront does get in the way of them being happy together. And it's really tragic the way that they play it out and the way they kind of fill you in on that, because look, David Arquette, just for what he's done for wrestling, as far as really going back, getting back into wrestling when he had no reason to. He didn't have to do this shit. But for I reviewed it with my friend. I reviewed "You Cannot Kill David Arquette," and if you haven't listened to that review, it's on the channel. I highly recommend that you do. But um, the review is just a blast. But also, it shows how much David Arquette actually respects wrestling, and that was something I just wasn't expecting. So I won't lie, I've become more endeared to David Arquette the more I just see him and stuff, and the more I hear him in interviews. He just seems like a nice dude, and and seeing Dewey come back actually gave me goosebumps. Which is kind of crazy that David Arquette was able to give me goosebumps just by showing up, and he has a really cool conversation with Sam and Tara, kind of being the Jamie Kennedy as far as letting them know, okay, you have Ghostface, after your ass. This is how the game works. I really love that scene where he's kind of explaining the rules of the game and how this all works and what they need to do to survive. Getting back to the kills, there is one kill in here where Ghostface kills this guy in front of his car. And that kill in particular, I thought was just fucking perfect. It was such a wow, you're such a dick. And that is one thing I have to say as the films go on, I appreciate. Ghostface is more of an asshole as these kills go on. Also, in this movie, there's a lot more kills in daylight. I appreciate the fact we kind of get away from more of the kills only happen at night. There's a kill where there's a kill in this movie where someone literally runs in the Ghostface blade, but the way it's done is so fucking clever. It doesn't feel campy. You go, oh shit, this could actually happen given the circumstances this person was trying to get to before they got stabbed. It's fascinating, and the film really does a great job of mixing up the kills and making you just and making you feel it, making you feel the weight on these kills. There are two kills that happen back to back, and you'll know the kills when they happen, but they're so brutal. They're so brutal, and the one kill in particular, since I said I was gonna get into spoilers, there's a point where Dewey is about to kill Ghostface, and I was like, holy shit, yes, yes. And then Dewey gets killed, and to say that I cried so hard because Dewey got killed. I was so fucking angry that Dewey got killed. It's even crazy because Ghostface knows that they were fucked, and and the fact that Ghostface goes, it's an honor, before he really lands that killing blow, the movie just rips you apart, much like Dewey. But the movie just tugs at your heartstrings, and that was a death that I just there was a point where I went, fuck, Dewey's gonna die, isn't he? And the irony that Gale unintentionally got him killed, it's such a it's such a brutal kill. And I actually had to pause the movie because I was so fucking mad. I was just like, well, now I really want Ghostface to die now. Like, I was so fucking angry. But I think that speaks volumes about the portrayal that David Arquette has had throughout this saga. He's been fantastic since the first film. He's been amazing, and he's continued to turn it up and find these other ways to be amazing and be inspired. And I give him a ton of credit, like tip of the cap to David Arquette. He was fantastic in this too. There's a death involving a stove that straight up might be my favorite death in the whole series. Like, that in particular, I just went, yep, this is awesome. Just, oh, there's so much great in this movie. And one of the rules that Dewey throws out is, if you have a partner, depending on how long you've dated them, they could still be a suspect. And look, I love Jack Quaid. He is, obviously he's an amazing Superman. If you haven't been watching My Adventures with Superman, you should. It's on Max, HBO Max. I've been calling it HBO Max. I refuse to just call it Max. That's stupid. But it's on HBO Max. It's wonderful. You should watch it. But Jack Quaid, as soon as I saw Jack Quaid, I went, "Oh, he's a Ghostface, isn't he?" it's you have to be one of them. And when you find out his reasoning, I will say I went, "Oh, I love that. I love that reasoning so much. It's so wonderfully shitty. I yeah, love the reasoning. Love his reasoning." And Melissa Barrera, she gets one of the most satisfying kills in the entire saga. The way that she kills Richie is so fucking intense and so brutal. And given some information we find about Sam, find out about Sam earlier in the film, really does, it gives you just enough doubt for where things could be going moving forward. It's very interesting. But to wrap up here, because I'm gonna go a little longer on a couple of the other Scream reviews. Our first Scream review, if you haven't listened to it, is like almost 2 hours, so there's a lot to talk about. But I dug this so much. This is so much fucking fun. The reveals of the Ghostface are great. The legacy characters mix in perfectly with the new generation. It's a really great balancing act that the film strikes as far as introducing these new characters, but not completely forgetting about the OGs. It's really well balanced, and that alone, I have to give this movie a ton of credit for that. This is a solid A for me. Yeah, 5 films into the franchise, and it's still kicking. So yeah, Scream 5, solid A. Definitely check it out. It's on streaming on Paramount Plus. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend you do. I would do a double feature with this and 6 personally. I will talk about 6 here soon, because I'm going to be reviewing that one as well. But I would do a double feature of 5 and 6 personally. But yeah, Scream 5. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments. You can find us on all the socials at linktr.ee/jhunterrealpineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at jhunterrealpineapple. You can follow me on Blue Sky at jhunterrealpineapple. You can also go ahead and like both our pages on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. That again is REEL Pineapple. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. It definitely helps us out. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, as well as iHeartRadio at The Real Pineapple. Follow me on TikTok at Black Shazam. You can follow me on Letterboxd as well at Black Shazam. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhunterrealpineapple. I'm going to be hopping on there later this month. I'll probably be streaming Resident Evil 4 and talking some Halloween movies, so that'll be fun. As we get later on in the month and I get it figured out, I'll keep y'all updated on when I'll be going live. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll have more Halloween reviews coming out here soon, including reviews for Pearl, all the Scream movies. Oh God, what else? By the time you listen to this should all actually be up. But reviews for Pearl, X, Fresh, a Twilight Zone episode. I'll be reviewing a Brooklyn Nine-Nine Halloween heist episode. I'll be reviewing some other stuff as well. But yeah, lots of Halloween stuff coming your way. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Get your COVID. Get your latest booster. Go ahead and get your flu shot as well. Heading into winter months, I want y'all to be safe. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. And don't forget, as always, to keep it real.